Hello, this is Adrian and this is grade time 4, unit 8, and this is video number 5. In this video, we're gonna talk about the reported questions, requests, and imperatives. We saw in the previous grammar topic that we worked with reported speech. And what is reported speech? Is when we want to report what someone said to another person. Okay, so we are reporting, somebody said, for example, oh, I want to buy a car. And then you can tell this thing to another person. Oh, my sister told me that she wanted to buy a car. So I am reporting what my sister said to another person. So I can report statements. Yeah, so for example, I like to be here. I like to watch TV. She told me that she likes to watch TV. I would like to go to the beach. She told me that she would like to go to the beach. So this is a statement. But sometimes we can report a question or a request or an imperative. So then, so that we have to make some changes in the reported speech, okay? So let's see some rules and then let's go to the book later. Number 1, with reported questions, we use statement word order, not question word order. Because in the questions word order, we invert the position of things, yeah? But in the reported questions, we don't invert. We use the same order of a statement, okay? We also do not use a question mark. Let's take a look at this example. She asked me who my friends were. Not she asked me who are my friends. So this would be the question order. But when we report, we don't use a question order. We use a statement word order. So she asked me who my friends were. Can we imagine what would be the direct speech question here? For example, who are your friends? Who are your friends, Adriano? So that would be the direct question. And the indirect is, she asked me who my friends are. Okay? Can you see that? I asked her what she did. Not, I asked her, what did she do? No, I don't use a question word order. I use a statement word order. For example, I asked her what she did. And what would be the direct question? It could be something like this. Hey, what did you do? Asking my sister, for example, what did you do? And the reported is, I asked her what she did. Okay? Number 3. They asked me why I wanted the job. Not, they asked me why did I want the job. So here I don't use any auxiliary. I don't use a question word order. I use a statement word order. They asked me why I wanted the job. And what would be the direct speech here? For example, why do you want the job? I have 2 people asked me, for example, Adriano, why do you want the job? So they asked me why I wanted the job. Okay? Next one. When we report a yes or no questions, what is a yes or no question? Is a question that requires a yes or no answer. For example, do you have a car? This is a yes or no question because the person has to say, yes, I do, or no, I don't. So in yes or no questions, when we report this kind of sentence, yes or no questions, we use if or whether and statement word order. For example, is that book good? She asked me if the book was good. So I have to start with asked. So she asked me. Then I have to use if or whether. And then the rest of the sentence in the statement word order. But don't forget, if the verb is in the present, the reported verb goes to the past. So is becomes was. So she asked me if the book was good. Do you eat fish? So you start. He asked me if or whether I ate fish. So the verb goes to the past. Eat becomes ate. And I use a statement word order. I ate fish. I don't use do anymore. Okay? Let's move on to the third rule. When we report WH questions with who, where, what, how, when, so these are WH questions in English. We use the same question word and statement word order. So the word who, where, what, how, when remains in the reported question. Okay? And we use the statement word order. For example, what are you looking at? He asked me what I was looking at. Okay, so the what remains, and I use a statement order. So it's wrong to say, she asked me what was I looking at? No, what I was looking at. The same statement word order. Okay, why did you leave the door open? They asked me why I had left the door open. So why remains, and I have to change did you leave, which is past construction, to the past perfect. Remember the other video? Yes, video number 2. So past goes to past perfect. Leave, had left. So they asked me why I had left the door open. How much money did they steal? She asked me how much money they'd stolen. So they had stolen. So we have to use how much. It remains, yes. And money they had stolen. So it goes to the past perfect. Did steal is past. So past goes to the past perfect. And the statement word order. So it's wrong to say, she asked me, how much money had they stolen? No, it's they'd stolen. They had stolen. Okay? Very good. Number 4. With requests, like it's like an imperative mode, we use asked plus a person plus to do. For example, please help me with this, Mom. He asked his mom to help him. Very straightforward, very easy. He asked someone, his mom, to help him. Can you close the door, please? She asked me to close the door. So she is asking someone, in this case me, to do something, to close the door. This is quite easy, okay? And with imperatives, this is a request, okay? I'm asking someone to do something. And this is an imperative, an order. Then we use told, the person, plus to do or not to do. Okay, so go away. He told me to go away. Don't call the police. They told me not to call the police. So before to, you use the word not, which is the negative. So don't call the police. They told me not to call the police. Okay, so these are the rules, many rules, but they're very intuitive. Okay, so let's take a look here at our book. Yeah, and here we have reported questions, requests, and imperatives. And this is about the listening. Remember Ms. Schwartz and the mugger Jason and the judge. So this is according to the listening. So here we have Ms. Schwartz. She asked me if I knew who'd suffered what? Most from what I'd done. So here is this one. Okay, this one. If I had suffered most from what I'd done. So this is an indirect speech. And this would be a yes or no question. So do you know who suffered most from what you've done? For example, that would be the question. And then in yes or no questions, we have to use if or whether. The judge asked me whether I wanted to go to prison. And this is also a yes or no question. The judge's question could be, for example, do you want to go to prison? So the judge asked me whether I wanted to go to prison. So I have to use the past of wanted, and the statement word order. Number 3, she asked me to look at the other side of the table where my mom and dad were sitting. This is a request. And in the request, we use the verb asked plus the person asked me to do something. So she asked me to look at the other side of the table where my mom and dad were sitting. What would be the direct speech here? For example, can you look at the other side of the table where your mom and dad are sitting? So when it's the direct speech, it goes to the present, okay? Where my mom and dad are sitting. And this is a request. And he told me to, letter A, to think carefully about my choices. So this is a request or an imperative. So what would be the judge's own words? For example, young boy, think carefully about your choices. It would be the direct speech. When it's in order, we have to use he told me, told someone to do something or not to do something. In this case, he told me to think carefully about my choices. Okay, so finally we have the rule. In reported yes or no questions, if it's a question like a yes or no, do you, etc., we use asked plus if or whether, and the same word order as in a statement. It's the statement word order. So we don't use did nor do, we don't invert anything. In reported requests, like this one, she asked me to look at the other side. We use asked plus the object. She asked me plus the infinitive. She asked me to look at the other side of the table. And finally, in reported imperatives, like the judge's imperative, he told me to think carefully. So we use told plus the object, told me to do this, to look carefully, to think carefully. But if it's negative, told me not to do something. Okay? All right. Lots of things to think about. All right? Well, now I would like you to go to activity number 2 on page 77. Think about it, do it, pause the video and do it. And then you're going to be right after this pause to do with you. Okay, so how was it? Did you have time to do the activity? Okay, so let's check. Number 1, are victims scared of meeting their muggers? So this is a yes or no question. So if it's a yes or no question, we have to use asked and if. For example, the host asked if victims were scared. So it is the correct statement order, and the present goes to the past. Are, were. If victims were scared of meeting their muggers. So this is the first one. Ken's wife. Did you see the article about restoring justice in the newspaper this morning? Ken's wife asked if, because this is a yes or no question. In this case, we have to use if and the verb asked. So Ken's wife asked if, did you see? Because she was asking him. So we have to to change you for he. So he asked if he, did you see, is past. It goes to the past perfect. If he had seen the article about restoring justice in the newspaper, this becomes that morning. Okay? Number 3, could you tell us more about the ideas behind the program, please? Since it's a request, we have to use asked someone. So the host asked him. Okay? To do something, ask him. To tell who? Them. Us becomes them. To tell them more about the ideas behind the program. And finally, can's manager. Don't include other criminals in the program. This is an imperative. So here we have to use told. So can's manager told him not to include. So don't include becomes not to include other criminals in the program. Okay, so there are lots of details that you have to change. But imagine that you are reporting what someone said. And then you have to think about the rules of the second video about reported speech. That you have to change the tenses. Okay, present becomes past, can becomes could, etc., etc. And here we have to use the correct statement order and use the verbs asked, if, or told, to or not to. Okay? I hope you could do it. Thank you for watching this video, and I see you next class. Bye!